For those of you born under the sign of the rat, this year the Grand Duke stands directly in your path. No escape, no delay. Now you can treat the clash as chaos or catalyst. React and lose ground, or act and rebuild your world on your own terms. Now, the rat in 2026, the year of the fire horse, it sits directly opposite the Grand Duke. And that's the cosmic equivalent of standing in front of a divine bulldozer and saying, all right then, let's rebuild properly. Now, that clash sets the entire tone for the year. This isn't bad luck, guys. It's about destiny reboot. So now, let's face it, a lot of people are scared that they are clashing with the Grand Duke, because this kind of like goes head to head with the year of the fire horse himself. Now, let's be clear here. This isn't about punishment or bad luck or bad things are going to happen to you because the universe just hit Control Alternate Delete on everything that you've ever created. That's not true, okay? So what happens in a Grand Duke year is that there are major changes and disruption coming your way. It's kind of like that cosmic reset, because you're opposite of the Tai Sui, okay? You see, the thing about clashes is that people keep telling you, oh, it's time to lay low, stay quiet, hide until it's over, don't do anything drastic. That's the old-fashioned astrology way, and that is totally wrong, okay? Why must you always lay low, all right? These are for losers, all right? And you are not a loser. That advice was written for people who actually fear growth, and that's not you. Listen, a Tai Sui clash, it's not a curse. It's a confrontation with your own stagnation. It's a year that you stop pretending that things are fine when they're actually not, right? So what you need to do is take the energies of the year, right, that breaks what's brittle so your real strength can show. Now, there are two positive stars that are actually supporting you in this change in 2026, okay? So it's not the end of the world. So these two stars, if you know how to use them, you can literally transform a clash year into a powerful transformational year. Now, the first one is called the Imperial Advisor. This star actually means that you have a strategist, like a mentor, like an advisor, a seasoned ally that's in your orbit. What you need to do is, well, you got to connect with these people. They're truth tellers. The problem is, when they challenge your thinking, don't go and argue. You must listen. This star gives you access to insight that cuts years off the learning curve. And what it requires of you in 2026 is 2026 rewards humility in the presence of wisdom. And that's what you need to understand, okay? Now, so remember, mentors don't actually turn up in that grandeur and that, I'm that noble person up there. Sometimes it could just be a friendly advice. Sometimes it could be your parents. It could be someone that, that's close to you. But because you've been ignoring advice, your ego is too strong. And that's where the Tai Sui will clash with you. Remember, the year rewards humility, okay? And the second positive star that is in your orbit this year for those born under the sign of the rat is called the month Emptiness. Now, month Emptiness is not a bad star. It's actually a good star. It's kind of like the chill pill of the cosmos. It's the ability in Chinese is called Feng Fa Gat. It means it dissolves tension, it diffuses drama, and helps you let go of what doesn't matter. So here's how you want to use this star, okay? So listen, what you need to do is think about your big projects and what you want to do for 2026, your big ideals and all that, and think about how you could lose. That's right, you think about how you could lose. Now some of you are like, huh? Why do I need to think about how I can lose? Because here's the smart thing to do. Think about all the possible ways you could lose, and all you need to do is don't do them. That's it. That's how the month Emptiness star will work in your favor. It will dissolve those that will make you lose. This star teaches you emotional minimalism. Don't fight every fire. Let half of them burn out themselves. Simplicity becomes your survival strategy, okay? Even if the Grand Duke is against you this year, okay? So think about all the ways you could lose and then don't do them. Okay? That's how you actually create a winning strategy. Now, the technical term for clashing with the Grand Duke is called the year breaker. Okay, so that's part of the negative stars that you are facing this year. So a lot of people are afraid, wow, the year breaker, right? This is a star that's going to tear me down, that's going to cause me to be sick, that's going to cause me to have an accident and illness and all that. Well, only for people who are scared. The more you fear, the more these things will happen to you. Okay? But the year breaker can also mean that this is the one star that tears down old systems. So if there are career habits, there are some really bad life habits that are draining you, or even relationships that, have run their course, don't resist demolition. All right? Some relationships don't serve you. Some do. Listen, your relationship should empower you. When you go home to a relationship, you're supposed to be happy. You're supposed to be relaxed. You're supposed to be able to talk about your day and enjoy your day. But if you go home to fights and you go home to drama, you should ask yourself, maybe I should really, do something about it. Let the Tai Sui clash this bloody relationship, right? Don't resist the demolition. It's the universe making space for your next blueprint, all right? Now, the one star that you want to watch out a little bit for is called the Great Consumer. This happens whenever there's a Grand Duke clashing with you. Great Consumer actually means, back in the old days, is about spending problems, all right? So a lot of people see this like, oh my God, I lose money. That's why Grand Duke no good. It means a financial leak, emotional leak, energy leak, and all that. Listen, all you need to do is become more cautious. If you audit everything, right, you understand what you're spending, you track your spending, you patch the holes, right, you audit the way you manage your finances, it's okay, right? It's not the end of the world. Listen, not spending anything doesn't help the economy, all right? And if you look at all the big businesses, entrepreneurs of the world, they buy assets, they're spending, all right? Some businesses requires hundreds of thousands, millions, or hundreds of millions even, right? They are spending to buy it, but they know that there's a future value. So if you're careful of how you are allocating resources, even clashing with Grand Duke and having the Great Consumer star could actually mean you're acquiring valuable assets. That's how it works, okay? Now, some books are really hyping about clashing with Grand Duke because there's the Calamity star, there's the Obstacle star, there's the Sky Cry and all that. Well, that basically means that, sometimes this year tests your patience, right? It tests your patience and it doesn't test your potential, all right? So some of these detours that's happening maybe means that you need to fix the flaws before your next sprint. That's about what it is, right? And of course, there'll be some surprises with the Calamity star, right? Some sudden changes, abrupt cancellations. That's because you're clashing with the Grand Duke. Just don't be like, oh my God, I'm so surprised there's some changes here. And then you cannot handle it, then you break down, okay? Don't do that, yeah? Remember, crisis reveals creativity, all right? And when plans kind of falls apart, you just improvise. Adaptation is your natural superpower. All right, that's all you need to do. So even if you are clashing in the Grand Duke and you understand this philosophy, things will be good for you. Okay, so all in all, I feel that the 2026, for those born under the sign of the rat, there's still a lot of opportunities for transformation if they're playing their cards well. Now, there are two stars that represent some emotional fluctuation that could be affecting those rats who are generally a bit more emotional and sentimental. The first one is called Sky Cry, and the other one is called Prison Stop. Now, Sky Cry generally means that it's kind of like emotionally heavy for you throughout the year, right? There could be some grief, maybe nostalgia or goodbyes that is happening. Now, don't repress it if that is happening, as long as it's a natural order of things, all right? The only reason that people have a big problem with this is because they cannot accept natural order, right? Don't repress it, release it. Tears are generally just data, right? They tell you what still matters to you, right? And the flying blade basically means that there are some sharp words, maybe sharp tempers, right? So watch out for your tone. The line between honesty and hostility is generally razor thin this year, right? So you want to choose precision over aggression, and that would basically, solve a lot of problems or prevent a lot of problems for you, all right? So that's the overall view for those born with the animal sign of the rat in their destiny chart. Now, the spiritual side of things, right? The spiritual side, you have this star called the Heavenly Menace and the Void star. Now, these are about spiritual energies. So 2026, your spiritual lesson is about confrontation with the truth. You see, the Grand Duke's clash doesn't ask you, can you win? It asks you, can you let go of what's fake? Every ending this year is a forced evolution. Every loss is an invitation to align. What you will learn is that real freedom isn't avoiding conflict. It's standing in it without losing yourself. That's the spiritual lesson that will come from these two components in your chart. Now, this is not all that is. Remember, you could be born in the rat year, rat month, rat hour, or rat day. Most people think that they only have one animal sign. So to get your full astrology chart, you can go to this link right here that you see on your screen and or scan the QR code and you will go to a page where you could just key in your date and time of birth and you can plot your chart, and there are additional resources that you can read about the details of 2026 and more about different animal signs. In fact, all the animal signs are explained in detail in that resource page. Okay, so go there and check it out. All right. Now, let me give you a brief of what happens when you see the rat sitting in different aspects of your 4 pillars of destiny. Okay, because that's where the thunder will strike this year, guys. So pay attention. So if the rat is in your year pillar, particularly, right, public life and relationships and friendships that are public. Okay, these are your friends in public, your network and all that. So some alliances will break, better ones will form. I mean, your network itself, will change because this is the Grand Duke year after all, right? So you're probably going to be rebranded in real time when you have the rat in your year pillar, because that's where the Grand Duke is going to strike in 2026. Now, if the rat is in the month pillar, that's indicative of, you're born in a December month, most likely December 5th all the way to January the 5th, around that time, plus minus a day. Right, so this is kind of like your career is meeting the Grand Duke, right? So it's a career overhaul, right? It's either a promotion or exit, right? That is in line, right? So both are possible, right? Both positive if handled strategically with the strategy that we talked about. Remember, listen to advice, right? Don't put your ego there, right? Sometimes if you're hearing and not listening, it's a different story, right? When the old structure collapses, rebuild on skill, not status. Take note of that. When the old structure collapses, rebuild on true skill and not status. All right? Some people think that, I have this position, you need to pay me the same, you need to pay me the same, you're not paying me the same. That you can't look for the same role because things have changed. All right? In the age of technology and all that, you need to upskill to deserve, right, what you currently have or more. So you got to do that. You got to do, if you say, no, I don't want to learn, I just want to stay the same, and you become a dinosaur, that's when the Grand Duke will strike, and that's when you lose your ability to earn as much, okay? Now, there are a lot of bad things that people talk about when Grand Duke strike the year. I'm not discounting that all of it is untrue, right? Yeah, it's untrue only for those who fear change and refuse to become better. There are those dinosaurs, I call them dinosaurs because they don't want to learn new things, right? They keep doing the same shit and expecting different results. There are people like that, right? And they have no realization that they are like that, and therefore they're stuck, right? So if you're watching this video, I want you to have that realization that for things to change, you need to change first, right? So that's what the Grand Duke is talking about. So if the rat is in the day pillar like so, that means you're born the day of the rat. Now, how do you find out? Is when you plot your full chart and you say, oh, I'm born the day of the rat, right? Then it's kind of like, your spouse, your relationship with your spouse is like you're confronting the Grand Duke every day. Right, so a little bit pressure, right? You feel the pressure, and what you need to happen is emotional honesty. Emotional honesty becomes mandatory in your relationship this year, right? Stop managing peace. Start speaking truth, right? Relationships probably going to face a reality check this year. If you can accept it, continue. If you cannot accept it, it's time to implement some changes. That's what the Grand Duke, the clash of relationship actually means this year. Clash is not always a bad thing. Sometimes you need to talk about stuff, right? So if you talk with reason, you talk with clarity, you talk with purpose, right? You get better chances of getting the outcome that you want, right? That's what you need to do. Now, the rat can also be in the hour of birth like so, right? So it means you're born roughly between 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. In the middle of the night. Now, if that's your case, right? If you have a chart like this, the hour pillar represents investment plans and long-term goals. When there's a clash of Grand Duke this year, it means that it needs recalibration. like quickly. Okay, you got to be very careful of sudden market shifts, right? Sudden timing that doesn't work, go your way. Don't cling on to old strategies. That's what it's trying to say, all right? Adapt very quickly and stay liquid. That's what this recommendation is for the rat with the hour pillar, okay? Now, also, you might get the hour pillar on your luck cycle. Now, if you don't know any of these, you want details, remember to scan the code, go and download your page. All the resources are there, right? See the link that is on the page and on the comment section. Okay, so if your rat is here in the luck cycle, that means that all your plans this year and all your interaction with other people is other people, the market and the condition where you're working, they are experiencing some change. The change is not you initiated, it's because along the environment, in the industry, in the marketplace, in the way you operate your company and your offices work, there's some changes. It could be regulation, it could be consumers are changing, so you need to pay attention to that aspect. Basically, expect delays and sudden changes. Okay? Now, download the notes, as I said that on, to get more information about the other animal signs as well, because you could have different animal signs in your year. And don't forget, a clash year doesn't destroy your destiny. Most of the time, if you play your cards well, it reveals it. All right? So, on behalf of Team Joviam and myself, stay alert, stay adaptable, and let the fire horse forge new momentum in the year 2026. Happy New Year.